Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. And today we have a review of the new Buffbunny launch for the Inner Lights collection. This collection is inspired by the Northern Lights. Heidi, the owner of Buffbunny, is from Alaska, so this is kind of inspired by that. It's also kind of like a Frozen 2.0. I think the first year I was working with Buffbunny, maybe the second year, they had the Frozen collection, which was just one of my favorites. They had so many unique, fun pieces, lots of blue, obviously, because Frozen, and they're bringing back one of the colors of that collection in the Inner Lights collection. So the sports bra I'm wearing is from the Frozen collection from a couple years ago. So it's just kind of fun to see almost a Frozen 2.0. Even though it's like kind of cold inspired, we still do have some bright colors. I know for my bright color lovers, the last Buffbunny launch, the Naked collection, was definitely a more neutrals focus. So we have some color in this launch, which is super exciting. The launch is happening on Saturday, August 12th at 1 p.m. Central Time. We didn't have much time for this collection. It is coming up. So as always, try to get your comments and questions down below at least a day or two before the launch so I can try to get back to you guys. I would say this is more of like a medium to smaller collection. I feel like we just have a handful of pieces, but there are a lot of new items, which is super exciting. I feel like there's not a lot of older pieces being brought back, which I love the classics, but I also love to see new pieces because it's just fun to try new things. You can use my code Kathryn. It gives 10% off your order and also supports me. All right, let's get into the colors of the launch. So there's kind of like three main colors, and then they're kind of accented alongside darker colors like navy and black. So obviously we have black and then a classic Buffbunny midnight navy. There's also Alaska, which is the same Alaska color from the Frozen collection. So if you still have some of those pieces, they will match. We also have the color Pink Lights, and there's also the color Green Lights, but I did not get any of those. So those were kind of the three bright colors I was talking about: Alaska, Pink Lights, and Green Lights. And then there's some whites and off-whites, and you'll see some color blocking of colors as well. Buffbunny is also introducing kind of a new terminology with their pieces, just to be a little more clear about the rise heights. For a lot of Buffbunny leggings, like the Legacy leggings, the Rosa leggings, they're an ultra high rise. So for a lot of people, if they have like a shorter torso, it can be a little overwhelming. For me, I do have a long torso and I'm tall, so it's fine for me. It does go above my belly button. So now for every piece, they will be also saying if it is an ultra high rise, a high rise, or a mid rise. So I'll do a side by side of all of the different rises on the screen here. But an ultra high rise on average will hit a little bit above the natural waist, and the waist is the smallest point in your torso. A high rise will sit right at the natural waist, and a mid rise sits kind of right at the belly button, maybe a little bit under the natural waist. So even though they might mark things as a mid-rise, they don't really feel like a true mid-rise. We're not talking like an early 2000s mid-rise. Like, I don't want anyone thinking they're gonna be like low or anything, but they're trying to offer a couple more rise heights just so the rises aren't too overwhelming on everyone. So for all Buffbunny bottoms, I always include the measurement from the gusset to the top of the rise for the size small that I receive. So I'll still be including those, but sometimes they vary based on fabric. Like if we have like the butter fabric, they have a little more stretch. So sometimes when they're on, they appear a little bit higher rise, even if they may not have the same measurement as something else that has a similar rise. So anyways, as always, at the end of each item, it'll say the rise height that I measure, then also what Buffbunny Collection has deemed the rise to be. As always, we're going to kind of section this review by type of item. So we're going to start with leggings, starting with the Aurora leggings. So these come in a couple different colors, and they are a solid color with just like a little piping detail. So if you want to add a little pop of color and then match like something like this with a full pink sports bra, that's kind of how I've been planning to wear it. The Aurora leggings are basically the same kind of silhouette as the Rosa leggings. So we have those kind of delicate Rosa seams. We also have that V contour in the back of the waistband, but it's a little more obvious with this new piping detail. Obviously, no front seam. We have that slightly extended crotch gusset, and similar to the Rosa silhouette, there's no side seams or anything. And then we have a 26-inch inseam, and these are still labeled as an ultra high rise. Waistband is double thickness, no front seam, no top bands as usual. Let's try these on. All right, here are the Aurora leggings. So overall, they feel very true to size. Since these are in black, they might just feel like a tiny bit more compressive than a lighter color. We also have a double thickness waistband, and these are definitely that ultra high rise. So my natural waist is kind of like right here, and these do go a little bit above that, and my belly button is very well covered. So like I said, this rise height, totally good for me, but if you have a shorter torso and you don't want something quite as overwhelming, you might want to go with something that just has a high rise. So we have that slight V waistband with the little contrast piping. We have no front seam. The gusset sits pretty far back, so I'm not seeing that. We have no side seams at all here, very similar to Rosa. And then we go to the back. We have the Buffbunny logo back here, and we have those V glute seams, and they are sitting above the hip bones here, so we get a nice medium to high on the booty scale. Cellulite will definitely be covered in these darker colors, and Nubri in general will cover a little more cellulite than the butter fabric that will be in the next leggings. Overall compression is about a medium, and here's the full view. These are a 26-inch inseam. They tend to hit around the ankle for me, but they do have quite a bit of stretch, so sometimes I stretch them down to give me a little more coverage. But yeah, overall these are feeling really good. I'm kind of like getting a little more waist snatching in this one than the regular Rosa leggings. Sometimes the Rosa leggings feel like they can like slide down a little bit compared to the legacy leggings. So for some reason, these ones are just giving me a little extra hold, and I just feel like they're staying up a little bit better. And then I have the solid colored pink to pair with this one, so you can kind of see how you can make these outfits. Next, we have the curve leggings. This is a new style, and I'm super excited about these. I haven't gotten to try them on yet, but I just feel like I'm gonna love them. So these are made of the butter fabric, which was introduced with the corset leggings in the corset crop back in the Cake collection. It's basically like the Nubri fabric in feel, like it still has that soft brushed feel, but it's even a little bit less compression, a little bit more naked feel. So just kind of hugs all of the curves. I wanted to love the corset leggings. They just like weren't really my favorite, but I think these are going to be better. So these have a high rise, so not quite as much as the Aurora leggings. We have a double thickness waistband and a slight V dip in the front, very soft though. We do have those delicate kind of classic Rosa seams, a little bit of a seam detail in the front as well, kind of similar to the contour pocket leggings had almost those little seam details that kind of just bring in the waist a little bit. We have a more dramatic V taper in the back compared to the Aurora leggings. We still have that slightly extended crotch gusset there. And these are designed to have a wedgie fit. So if you've tried the BBL seamless legging, I believe this back rise is supposed to be very similar to that. They kind of shorten the back rise seam so that it stays up the cheeks better for a little glute separation. Not quite like a hidden scrunch, but it still has that effect. So you guys know I love a little two cheek moment. I love some cheek separation. So I'm hoping we get some good cheek separation on these. You don't have to wear it up the cheeks. I'll show it both ways when I try them on, before I adjust it and after I adjust it. But me personally, we're wearing it up the cheeks, okay? These ones have a little seam detail down the leg as well, and are also a 26-inch inseam. Okay, don't be afraid. This is not the true rise height. I'm just showing before I adjust these at all. So before we adjust the wedgie fit, this is kind of where they sit. So if you are not planning to wear these up the cheeks and you want them to just kind of have the seam on the outside of the cheeks, you're not going to get the best look, and they are going to be a much lower rise because they've shortened that back rise height with the assumption that you're pulling these up the cheeks. So one thing about pulling leggings up your cheeks to get that glute separation, sometimes people don't know this, but you can't be wearing any full coverage underwear because you have to get the legging seam between your cheeks. So you're either going commando or you're in a thong. I personally really only wear thongs. I just honestly find them more comfortable. So this is before, and then we will do this together. But as always, I like to inch a little bit of fabric up the legs, and then you bring it back and around too. Up the legs, back and around, and then you pull the seam up the cheeks, and then suddenly the leggings have like way more rise than they did before. We have a little cheek separation moment. So it's almost like they have a scrunch, but they don't. And then I just like to adjust any like extra fabric in the front. So these are not necessarily a low effort legging. You're definitely putting in a little work to get them on, but they should be the kind of thing where you put them on and they stay put throughout the workout. I will say, this is something I've noticed with these kind of like wedgie fit items that aren't seamless. I don't normally have this problem with seamless. It's only seamed items that have this fit. Like this was the same with, I believe it was the Alpha Luxe Wonder shorts from Alphalete. They kind of like to creep into your front pieces as well. So right now I am fighting some no front seam camel toe, which is upsetting. So this might be a pair of leggings that I wear my Jiv anti-camel toe underwear with, because that just prevents this from happening. But if you are someone who can be susceptible to a no front seam camel toe situation, I'd avoid these. So we can kind of see, usually it happens in the gusset area, but I'm definitely getting a little bit of discomfort. So sometimes I just kind of like pull that to the side a little bit. Anyways, overall for the leggings, I would say they are true to size, but maybe lean a little bit on the small side. They are super stretchy, so I feel like the small works for me. It's not really pinching me anywhere, but if you're in between, I definitely would size up. These are the high rise. They hit right to the smallest point of my waist. They have a soft V front with a delicate Rosa seam, and then they also have side seams that go all the way from the bottom of the legs and come up to almost a little like waist defining seam up here. And then in the back, the seams have a tapered V seam in the back. We already discussed that wedgie fit. I think these definitely deserve a high on the booty scale. They're also a super stretchy naked feel legging, so we're not getting any squishing down, but with that we get a little less cellulite coverage. So if that's something you're concerned about, I would lean more towards Nubri fabric instead of butter. Then looking at the full length of these, they are a 26-inch inseam, and we have that seam that goes from kind of the front up here all the way down the leg, and then they kind of wrap around to meet the inner leg seam. So I love how stretchy these are. I love the wedgie seam. Just feels like it's gonna stay a lot better than if you just tried to pull like a legacy legging seam up here, because the butter fabric just kind of contours to every curve more. But the front discomfort is definitely a negative. Again, it doesn't happen for everyone, but this does occasionally happen for me, especially with these wedgie fit items. So that's my only drawback. But I am gonna wear these to the gym. I will wear my anti-camel toe underwear, and we will do any updates on probably on Instagram, because we are running out of time for filming this video. So. Okay, I just wanted to do a little post-workout check-in with this outfit. So the bra was actually great. I did not feel like I was going to fall out of it at any point. So I actually feel like it's good even for large cup sizes. It definitely does feel a little bit tight though. So again, consider a size up. And then the leggings, I definitely felt like I was getting a little camel like at the beginning of my workout. But after about 5 minutes, when things just kind of like, you know, settled into place, I didn't feel like it was an issue. I wasn't like picking at my crotch the whole time. I didn't get any like visible camel or anything. And I feel like it stayed up pretty well in the back. I did have to like occasionally adjust it a little bit, but they definitely did not completely slide down. Just in terms of having that like wedgie fit, I do feel like a seamless stays in place just a little bit better than a seamed legging, but they were still good overall, and they're super stretchy. And someone even complimented me on my outfit. So. We also have the classic legacy leggings. I did not get any of the new legacy leggings because I already have a bunch, but the legacy leggings are made of the classic Nubri fabric. So soft, brushed, a little bit thicker than butter, just gives you a little bit of hold, but still very stretchy and naked feel. The legacy leggings still have their classic ultra high rise. They go slightly above the natural waist, kind of a thicker waistband, no front seam, slightly extended crotch gusset, and then we have those tri-seam details in the back that just add a little bit of something while still remaining pretty neutral. And with all the leggings today, they are also a 26-inch inseam. Lastly, the Rosa leggings are coming back in just one color. It looks like two, but they're coming in navy ombre. So although I have a bunch of Rosa leggings, I did want to try these in the ombre because sometimes with different colors, like patterns and things like that, the leggings can feel a little bit different. So I'm kind of expecting these to fit kind of more similarly to like a Rosa legging with a bossy print instead of just a plain solid color. So the Rosa legging silhouette, very similar to the Aurora leggings that we already tried on, but they have that ultra high rise. They are also made of the Nubri fabric. They have a slight soft V in the front with that delicate seam detail, kind of a softer V contour in the back as well, and that extended crotch gusset. These start out with midnight navy at the top, and then they go down to match Alaska. It's not the most perfect match to Alaska as we see, but if you wore like an Alaska colored bra or top with this on the bottom, it would be far enough away that it would look like the exact same color. Already with these, they do feel slightly less soft than just a 100% like solid Nubri fabric, which is similar to most of the patterned leggings. They just kind of lose a little bit of the like brushed feel when they do different colors like this. And I also feel like I see little specks of the Alaska color in some of the seams here. So you can see in some of the seams, just see a few specks of that lighter color. So if that is something that's going to bother you, it's not very obvious, but it is kind of like down the leg a little bit too. So I just wanted to point that out, but let's try it on. Okay, so here are the ombre Rosa leggings. We have the ultra high rise, which is classic for Rosa. We have that slightly dipped down front waistband, and then we have the slightly extended crotch gusset. And something I did not mention before is that the inside is lined with that Alaska blue. So when you stretch it, you are going to see some of that Alaska blue through. So it shouldn't look too unusual because the bottom is already in that blue color. So like when my knees go from straight to bent, you are seeing more of the blue, but I actually think it's kind of a cool effect to have. But definitely the navy on top is not as opaque as a true navy piece. I'm gonna go to the back with the seams. They go above the glutes. They're that delicate seam detail, medium to high on the booty scale. Yeah, I'm getting about a medium compression on these, so it's not too much more than usual. Generally these are true to size, but if you're in between, I would size up. And here's the full length view. They do have a 26-inch inseam. I can occasionally appreciate an ombre, but for some reason these just aren't really doing it for me. These are not my favorite. I feel like it's because the upper navy just kind of looks a little bit splotchy, but I do like that you can pair it with an Alaska colored top or the midnight navy top. But yeah, what do you guys think? This is all the Rosa leggings are coming in color wise. All right, the next category is shorts. So we're going to start out with what I wore to the gym today, which are the Aurora 6-inch shorts. We finally got a little 6-inch short that's not just a legacy short. For so long we just get like one 6-inch short per launch and it would just be legacy, so I love that the 6-inch is kind of getting prioritized here. So while the Aurora leggings were an ultra high rise, the Aurora shorts are just a high rise. So when I wore these, they were totally covering my belly button, but they just kind of hit a little bit lower. These come in the same color combos as the Aurora leggings, but you get a lot more of the contrast color. So I thought the black and white was a nice piece that you can kind of mix and match, like a colorful sports bra here, or with the color block version of the sports bra, you can match a colorful pair of leggings. So we have the Newbury fabric. The waistband still goes to almost a slight V in the front, but it's actually one of the thicker seams, more like a legacy seam than a Rosa seam. No top band. I love how the color block detail kind of like almost gives you like an hourglass shape. We still have those V contoured seams in the back, and then a slightly extended crotch gusset in the front. Let's try these on. Okay, here are the shorts. So these ones are a high rise and they do hit the smallest point in my waist. I think I actually like this high rise. It's not too overwhelming and it's still covering my belly button and it stayed there the entire workout, but it's not like so high that for my shorter girlies it's gonna roll down. We have that dip down waistband in the front here, and this dip down is in that thicker seam that I mentioned. Then you see with these panel details here, it just kind of gives like a slimming effect and kind of defines your waist a little bit. The fit of these reminds me a lot of the wave shorts, like the original wave shorts from Under the Sea. Getting quite a bit of compression in these. It might be partially due to the black, because sometimes black is a little more compressive, but I'm getting like a medium to high compression, and I am getting a little bit of cutting in into the thighs. It doesn't bother me too much because usually with a 6-inch short, it's kind of over the bulk of my thighs. So if it cuts into me, it kind of just like keeps them there, but just letting my thick thigh girlies know, you might get a little bit of cutting in. So they definitely overall feel a little bit snug. So if you are concerned about sizing, I would definitely size up. We have the white panels at the side here. You still get that little hourglass shape from the side. Keep in mind, I am wearing a nude pair of underwear underneath, and I can't see the color of it at all, but it is a lot harder to hide under a white fabric like this. You're gonna wanna wear a skin tone color. And then we go to the back, and for some reason I feel like these, maybe it's because it's a little more compressive, I feel like we just get a medium on the booty scale today. Like I'm not really feeling like they're enhancing the glutes too much. They're not really squishing them down, so we're just kind of right in the middle there. Yeah, so overall I feel like these may run like a tiny bit small, but I do really like the shape of these. I feel like they're super flattering, and I love a little color block look. I feel like it's really fun. The second pair of new shorts are the curve shorts. So these ones are only coming in a 4-inch inseam, and I'm not gonna lie, when I first held these up, they look so small. They're so small. Like, how is this 4 inches? So I can already just tell like these aren't gonna be something I'm going to be comfortable wearing at the gym because I got some thighs and they'll eat something like this right up. So we will do a quick inseam check here. I measure all of the inseams eventually, but Sometimes I just like to check them on the spot. Ooh. They are indeed a 4-inch inseam. So these are the same high rise as the Curve leggings, made of the butter fabric, so a little softer, a little lighter weight than Nubri. The same delicate seam details, the same kind of contour seam details in the front, and we have those curved glute seams in the back. But I think the reason why these look like so tiny, first of all, the butter fabric does have a lot of stretch to it. Thigh seam seems pretty stretchy too, but because these have that wedgy fit and they have that kind of shortened rise seam in the back, you're meant to pull them up the glutes. So I just feel like this 4-inch inseam is just gonna get taken up by my glutes and not really be on my legs. Similar to the BBL seamless shorts that I found, felt like a 2-inch inseam when they were on. So let's just try these on and see. Okay, these are the Curve shorts before adjusting them. So I already can feel they are not going to feel like a 4-inch short because of this back rise seam. So if we adjust it where it kind of wants to be with the wedgy fit, we are getting super short shorts. So just keep that in mind. Whenever you have this wedgy fit, you're gonna lose like a good 2 to 3 inches of the inseam, to the point where these are literally the same length. These are hitting me at the same point that the 2-inch shorts that launched earlier in this year are hitting. So we're seeing the double butt area and everything. I generally like to have a longer short so that I don't have to worry about my cheeks popping out. Anyways, I do feel like these run a little bit small. They are a little snug on my thighs and just a little small everywhere, so I would consider a size up. These are feeling like more of a mid-rise actually. They're like barely covering the belly button, which I feel like sometimes it looks normal for shorts to be a little less high-rise than leggings, but still, you still have that seam up here at the waist that goes to the side. These are gonna roll like crazy on me because they're already so short. And then we'll still give the medium to high on the booty scale because they still have that wedgy fit. They still have the seams that curve around. These are too booty short for me personally. If you like a short that has like a super short inseam, like a 2-inch inseam, once these are situated, they definitely feel like the 2-inch inseam. Other than that, we have a light compression and very similar to the Curve leggings. The next pair of shorts is the Legacy 4-inch short, which we have tried many a time. So if you guys know the Legacy 4-inch shorts, you know they do have a slightly lower rise than the Legacy leggings. So Legacy leggings, ultra high. Legacy shorts are just a high rise. Generally when I measure them, they are about an inch shorter in the rise. So they are only coming in the 4-inch in this launch, but they are also made of that Nubri fabric. They have that tri-seam detail in the back. They're about like a light to medium compression depending on the color. And they're coming in all of those bright fun colors of this launch, so you can mix and match with the different tops. Lastly, for the shorts, we have the Rosa shorts. So it's been a minute since I've tried a Rosa short, but I think I have one in here somewhere. Yes, I do have a pair of Rosa shorts. These were from the Nubri collection like 2 years ago. So made of the Nubri fabric. They are still an ultra high rise like the Rosa leggings. So the Rosa shorts are a little bit higher rise than the Legacy shorts. So keep that in mind if you like a higher rise or don't like a higher rise. These are also only coming in the navy ombre, so they will lean a little bit more towards medium, even medium high compression, just because that ombre fabric just had a little bit more compression. So same classic Rosa detail. There are no side seams. We have a slightly dipped down V in the front, slightly extended crotch gusset, kind of like a gentle V seam in the back. Then the Rosa shorts also have a hidden waistband pocket on the left side of the waistband there. So if you need to like put a key in there or anything, they have it there. So next we are moving on to sports bras. So we are starting out with a sports bra that was actually meant to launch in the Naked collection, and it ended up coming out like a week or two after. So I never reviewed this on my YouTube channel or anything, but if you follow me on Instagram, I did do some story reviews. So the Aurora sports bra, this one is super cute. Definitely a little more for my smaller cup size girls. I did wear this to the gym today, and even Ian came up to me after the gym and was like, you were like falling out of the sports bra the entire time. It's kind of awkward to like tuck yourself back into your bra like in the middle of a workout. So definitely when I was doing some leaning over exercises, I put on my little like warm-up shirt over it just because I didn't know if we would lose a nip or not. But it is super cute. So it's a short line sports bra. It has kind of a rounded square neckline, very wide. It's super flattering. We do have removable cups and there is an elastic at the bottom, but the fabric is laid on top of the elastic, so you don't really see it when it's in there. We have these two straps that come back in, are kind of sewn together back there, so they leave your arms very open, and then that band goes all the way to the back here, and this one comes in a couple different color blocks. It should still be on the Buffbunny website in the cocoa color as well. I also have that one if you were looking for a shorter line sports bra to go with the Naked collection. Here's the Aurora bra, I love how the panels line up with the shorts so you can get the full effect. You can also wear this with the Aurora leggings and the colors will match with the little piping detail. So we have that little band along the bottom. Like I said, it gives kind of a seamless look because it's sewn in along the inside. I definitely feel like this bra is snug, not only in the bust space for me, but also in the bottom band. So I definitely would consider a size up. I feel like the Cocoa one from the Naked collection that arrived late, if you're wondering why it wasn't in the video, I feel like that one is a little more true to size. So maybe with these color blockings, just running a little smaller. And you can see kind of the rounded square neckline. It's very wide, covers the side boob well, but coverage overall, I want to say it's a medium coverage. I just am falling out of this one left and right. Like I was tucking myself back in at the gym, just feeling kind of uncomfortable. So for my large cup size girlies, just be aware. So still about a medium coverage. Support is more of a light support. I just don't really feel like this one supports quite as well. We have these straps that are a little bit thicker than a spaghetti strap, kind of lined with the nubri. And I really love the back detail on this one. It's just very simple, but cute. This one's kind of the least large cup size friendly. It is super cute. Maybe taking out the cup pads would help me because I would still like to be able to wear this one without feeling like I'm gonna have a nip slip at the gym, but the next new sports bra, we have the Curve sports bra. This one is supposed to go with the Curve leggings and shorts. So it's made of the butter fabric, obviously same as the Curve leggings and shorts. It's got a scooped shoulder high neckline with kind of a delicate racer back in the back. And this one doesn't actually have an elastic along the bottom. It does have a little seam to kind of like keep you in there a little bit, but it doesn't have the security of an elastic like that Aurora sports bra. This one is definitely a short line, if not a little shorter than short line, because it kind of scoops up a little bit. We'll see how this works because we've tried many a sports bra in this kind of little curved detail on this channel. And if you have a larger cup size, your girls just kind of end up eating this little section right here and it just looks like a normal sports bra. So we'll see how this goes. This one will also likely be more of a light impact sports bra. We have a Pinto appearance. He's about to get his lunch, so he wants to go, but we always have to show him the cats are present. All right, buddy, go get your lunch. All right, so here's the Curve bra. I feel like this one runs like a little bit small. Definitely felt a little bit snug getting on, and it's a little bit tight in the traps. So it might be because it's the butter fabric, which is a little stretchier, so they felt like it should be a little more of a snug fit, or because it doesn't have an elastic at the bottom, you don't have the security there, so you kind of just rely on compression. But either way, I definitely would consider a size up. If you have a smaller cup size, probably totally fine with your normal size. So we have this kind of almost delicate high neck detail here. Definitely getting a little bit of a side boob. I also think that's kind of because of the sizing. It's kind of squishing me a little bit, so I am kind of coming out there. Overall, we're going to give it a medium to full coverage because we don't have quite full coverage just because of these little side boob areas. So we can kind of see the curve detail here, and you can see when you have, you know, a bust to kind of fill out this area, sometimes the little curve details just look a little bit funny. It just kind of depends on your chest shape how this is going to look. The cup pads can go down here, so it maintains it a little bit better. It also comes up even higher than a normal sports bra in the middle here, which I find to be very flattering in general just because it shows a little bit more like the upper abs. The cup pads are sitting in a good place and we can adjust them on the sides, which I love. And then we have the back, and I love how they've been doing this kind of like skinnier tapered racer back, but I definitely feel like it is a little snug along the bottom. There's no elastics or anything in there, and it's also a soft fabric, so I don't necessarily think it'll cut into me, but I could see the traps being a little bit uncomfortable over time. And overall support, it's about a medium support. I do feel pretty like compressed and in there. So overall, definitely a cute bra. I would say it's pretty large cup size friendly just because I am being held in and I don't feel like I have any chance of, you know, under boob slipping out the bottom. But if you are larger cup size, definitely consider a size up. And our last new sports bra, we have a Legacy sports bra. We've had the Legacy leggings, the Legacy shorts, and now we have a Legacy sports bra. So that's so fun. This is definitely the launch of short line sports bras. Not a lot of large cup size friendly options this launch. Maybe I'll be able to be nice and covered in this one. We will see in the try on. But we have a nubri fabric. We have an elastic along the bottom. It is sewn from the outside, so you can see the elastic as opposed to the Aurora sports bra that has that seamless look. We have another kind of wide neckline that's a little bit of like a rounded square. And then we go to the back to where the Legacy detail is inspired. You have the right strap being completely solid, and then the left strap splits into these 3 little strap details. So it's just a small little asymmetrical look. And I feel like this is inspired by the Legacy leggings because we have that tri-seam detail in the back. We got a little 3 strap detail here, and then we have just the Buffbunny logo down there with some removable cups. Let's try it on. Okay, here is the Legacy sports bra. We have that really wide kind of squarish neckline similar to the Aurora sports bra. The elastic is sewn on the outside here, so we do kind of see that separation from the bust area and the seam. Overall, I would say true to size. I feel like with a lot of these sports bras, just because I am a larger cup size, we just get a little bit of spillage. So if you don't have a larger cup size, I would definitely stay true to size. But even in general, the bottom band, it's secure, it's not too tight, but it is snug, so if you're in between, I definitely would size up. I would say it's somewhat large cup size friendly. I feel a little bit better in this one than the Aurora sports bra. I feel like I shouldn't fall out of it at the gym, but because I'm already having a little bit of spillage, it's kind of questionable. So I probably won't be able to try this before I finish this video. So stay tuned on Instagram stories because I will work out in this before the launch. So overall coverage, I still feel like it's a medium coverage. It goes nice and into the armpit area here. So we get good side boob coverage. It's just a pretty scooped detail here. And support, it's about a medium support. And then we go to the back and you have the elastic down here, the logo, and then you have that asymmetric strap detail. It splits kind of like up at the neck here, so you don't really notice it at the front. It's just at the back. I like that they're doing a couple more short line options. Just some of them I'm just like kind of falling out of a little bit. I feel like it's because the neckline shape is almost kind of like a Revolution bra, and for some reason with the Revolution bra, like I'm always kind of like spilling out the top a little bit. So just keep that in mind. It's partially comes down to cup size, but also just like bust shape and the shape of your body, if this is gonna work for you or not. We have the Cloud Knit reversible top. So this one is made of an 82% nylon, 18% spandex. It's more of a lightweight brushed material. So this is not really a workout top, more for lifestyle. And you can wear it with this twist in the front. It's gonna be a lot of cleavage going on. Or you can wear it with a twist in the back and have the full coverage. We have a little sewn on coin logo at the side here. And I'm interested to see how this one will work, just because you can't really wear a bra under it. And I feel like this is meant to be the front because the twisted side is double lined, so you're gonna get a little more opacity, a little more support from the front. This back side is all just single lined, so I feel like I would not be able to go braless on this side in the white because we would just be able to see the nips clear as day. So we will see how I'm gonna try this on. Maybe I'll try it on with a sports bra underneath to wear it this way, then we'll try to just try it on like this without a sports bra because that would completely ruin the look. All right, here is the front of the top. So the front is double lined, and I feel like we're not seeing like the color of anything going on here, but it's not super thick. So a cold breeze comes around, you know, we'll get some nippage. For me, I'm just not really sure where I would wear this. When I wear like lifestyle tops, I like them to have like a little bit more coverage. Even if we do like a cleavage moment, I might want just like a little bit longer of a crop. But if you do like these super cropped crops, this one is true to size, very stretchy, but yeah, definitely not a gym top or anything. Anyways, this is the back, very plain. We will try on with the back and the front next. All right, here is the top on backwards. So we can see that the bright pink sports bra underneath, you definitely are seeing it through a little bit. It doesn't necessarily look weird, but it definitely feels like I'm wearing it backwards. So I would not really say it's like super reversible. Also, you can really tell here that the front is double lined and the back is single lined. So I just feel like, especially with the white, it would have been nice if the whole thing was double lined, just because you don't really feel like you could wear this easily without a bra in the back and not showing anything in the front. And then here is the back in the reversible way. Again, I can't really wear this like without anything underneath, so you just kind of get whatever sports bra or bra you're wearing under it. We have the recycled crew pullover. This is another new item, and it's made of a new fabric. This is called the Luxe fabric. So it's made of a 58% recycled polyester, 34% modal, and 8% spandex. So it's not like a classic sweatshirt material. It actually feels like almost kind of silky, smooth to the touch, but not shiny. So a little bit more lightweight of a jacket option. There's no fleece lining or anything like that on the inside. It's almost kind of like plush but sleek. It has a little bit of stretch to it as well, and it's kind of a mid-length crop. I did get a size small. They've been trying to make their sweatshirts like a little more oversized now, so let's try this one on. Okay, this is one of those tops that I feel like it's kind of hard to determine which side is the front versus the back, but there is a little seam along the collar that I believe goes in the back. So I'm pretty sure this little coin logo is supposed to kind of go on the left side front for this one. So here it is. I actually really like this fabric. It has a really unique feel to it. Like, it's not necessarily brush, but it almost has like a sleek suede feel. It is a cropped fit. It's not super cropped to the point where like you're seeing the sports bra exposed, but you definitely will show a little bit of skin depending on your height. For me, I'm tall. We're showing a little skin. I would definitely say true to size. It has a slightly relaxed fit, so it's not too snug on me anywhere. So I don't think there's a need to size up unless you want it super oversized. We have little cuffs at the bottom of the sleeves. They are long enough for me. No thumb holes or anything. In the neckline, it is a crew neckline, but it's not like super tight against your neck, and it's also stretchy, so it's pretty easy to get on over your head. And then the back is very similar to the front, just very basic. This is definitely going to be a nice little like spring or fall piece for me to layer on before I go to the gym, just to have a little coverage and a little extra warmth. And lastly, we have accessories. So they have Newbury scrunchies in all of those bright colors, midnight navy, and onyx. We also have the butter headband. It's made of the butter fabric, obviously. You have the Buffbunny logo there. If you don't want to wear the Buffbunny logo like right at the top of your head, you could just, you know, either turn it inside out or kind of twist it around a little bit, but I thought this was fun. I don't often wear headbands, but I could. And that is it for the launch. Again, it is happening on Saturday, August 12th at 1 p.m. Central Time. If this review helped you out, please give this video a thumbs up, and if you are shopping the launch, you can use code Kathryn for 10% off. Or when they were just support codes. I love that they are discount codes now. Just like amazing. I definitely feel like this collection is a little bit on the small side, but I love that we have a bunch of new pieces. Like, it's mostly new pieces, and definitely some fun colors here and there. A personal fave is probably the Alaska blue. I just love a blue like this. As always, leave your questions down below and I will try my best to get back to all of them. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!